Hi, I'm Becky Streepy from Glue and Glitter, and welcome to another Friday Tea Break. This week, I'm here with Nichole Dandrea-Russert, and I'm really excited to chat with her. Nichole is a registered dietitian nutritionist and a certified yoga instructor, and we're going to talk about what we've been eating and what's keeping us feeling grounded. Before we do that, I wanted to give you the regular caveats. We're all at home. My family and my dogs are here. Nichole's at home, so you might hear some at-home sounds, and we can't control those. I also, though, wanted to say that we've been having some power surges lately. Today, we've had two. Hopefully that won't happen during this because I'm not sure what that will do to this live. So fingers crossed, everyone. All right, let's bring Nichole up on the screen. Hi.
Hi, Becky.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Thank
It's a
you.
great time for a live 2 o'clock Friday afternoon as we roll into the weekend.
Yeah. So tell me what's been going on with you. What's new?
Well, also, thank you for having me today. I'm really excited to be a part of this. Gosh, still in adjustment mode with the whole quarantine thing. I don't know if all of us will ever completely adjust and how itching to get out like everybody, but we've been taking advantage of this time at home to just cook lots of things just like you and prepare and experiment a little in the kitchen. We have a routine. I feel like right now, finding structure is so important because the days just feel like they all go together. So in the beginning of quarantine, I want to say it was just really, I was feeling a little scattered and kind of all over the place, and just, all the days were really running together. And finding structure has really helped with everything from just kind of feeling balanced and feeling like we have a routine. My husband and I take a walk with the dog each morning, and then the afternoon, that's like the highlight of our day, getting outside, probably for most people, getting outside a little bit, especially now that the weather's so nice. And just Saturday mornings going to the farmer's market. Luckily, we have a lot of great farmer's markets around here that are doing curbside pickup if you order online. So that's been a really fun way just to experiment with some local vegetables and produce in the kitchen and try some new things and make some things in the kitchen. So yeah, so lots of recipe development with walks outside and lots of dog snuggles in between.
Oh, dog snuggles make it all better, for sure.
Everything better, absolutely. Or cat, any kind of animal will do.
I totally hear you on structure. We're the same way. Right now, our structure has kind of all come from our homeschool schedule, but today was the last day. So it's going to be a wild time for the next couple weeks. We're just going to be figuring it out.
Well, it's so hard because right now you don't know what to expect. And you can't really plan July or August because you're not sure what's going to be open and what options there will be. So it's probably a day-by-day basis for you. And your family, just figuring out how to entertain everybody. Do you have anything planned in the immediate future?
We have a St. Simon's Beach trip planned for July. I'm not feeling too optimistic about that happening though, but we'll see. And then we have the kids signed up for a Pokemon art class online, so that'll be something to kind of break up the weeks.
Yeah.
And his piano lessons will keep going. She's doing FaceTime lessons, which is really cool.
Oh, that's great.
We'll have a little bit of structure, but I think we need to come up with some independent stuff like you have with the dog walks and other stuff like that, just to give our days some meaning.
I feel like it bookends the day because we know we're starting the day with a dog walk and we're ending the day with a dog walk, and it's just really something to look forward to every day. Just getting outside. We are all just so cooped up in the house. I don't think you realize sometimes, at least I haven't realized sometimes, how much it kind of wears on me after a while. And I just started craving. I'm like, I just need to I need to walk out barefoot in the backyard, have my feet in the grass, and just listen to the birds for a minute or something, because everyone's going a little stir crazy inside, and just getting out for a walk you get exercise, you walk the dog. If you don't have a dog, you get a foster dog. It's a great time to foster a dog, or take a shelter pet out for the day. And just to get some fresh air, so needed for mental health.
Yeah, I was running with my dog, but that kind of once the masks went into effect, running with a mask is just so unpleasant. But I should just walk her. She would love that. It would be fine.
Definitely. Yeah, a lot will do. Yeah. No, I hear you. I tried running with a mask as well, and it's definitely not the same. It's
Yeah.
challenging. You don't get the same. I feel like part of the run is getting some fresh air and inhaling all that oxygen, and it's just you're just recycling your own breath. So it's hard to breathe.
Yeah, we got some like lightweight ones, but when you breathe in, they like plaster against your face, and I feel like I'm suffocating. It's not that great.
Yeah, a fast walk will do.
Yeah, totally. You mentioned the farmers market. Have you been doing any other grocery? I mean, you must be for other kinds of staples besides fruits and vegetables. Hey, Christy's here. Hey, Christy.
Hi, Christy.
Good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Staples, definitely all kinds of local produce. I feel like, fortunately, for those of us who like a lot of produce, that I feel like we've been pretty well stocked in the grocery stores. I haven't felt like a lacking in that area. Um, Hi, everybody. I see people chiming in. Hello, guys.
Hey. So, Christy, it's not a law, it's just a CDC recommendation. We are a very cautious family. I can't over I can't stress enough how cautious we are. And unfortunately, it is always crowded around my house and people are wild. They do not move. It's so the few runs I've been on have just been so stressful. But a walk, I feel like I have a little more time to, and I could wear a mask. And
Yeah.
it's Gloria. Hello, how are you?
Hello, Valeria.
So
Yeah,
many Atlanta ladies. It's good to see you all.
so good to see everybody.
So
Um,
stuff like milk. What kind of milk are you doing? I almost said soy milk, and then I was like, I bet not everyone does just soy and oat like we do.
I'm definitely a soy fan. I like everything. Whenever I write a recipe, I'm like, whatever plant-based milk you prefer, but I always want to have like a disclaimer, like soy. Most recipes, at least in my opinion, I feel like it works so well. It's so creamy, and I think the protein content helps a lot because it's like the only milk that's really equivalent. Like it's naturally high in protein. But I love the creaminess of soy. Like I do a matcha tea every morning, and I've tried every milk. I like soy for its nutritional benefits too. So it's not even just the creaminess, but I think it's a great product. But there's so many options on the market now that it's fun to experiment with other milk. So like cashew milk, hemp milk, flax, um, and none of them compare to soy. At least like for a matcha tea, like that makes it super creamy. And we started doing homemade almond milk, and I like that too. So I'm trying to get away from the packaging of soy. It's the only thing that drives me crazy is like there's, of course there's like some fillers in there, but the packaging probably drives me more crazy even more so than the fillers. And I just hate throwing it out because it's not recyclable. And so we started making almond milk. So I'm like, at least if we're doing like the soy milk is lasting a little bit longer in the fridge, and I'm doing like half homemade almond milk and half soy. But yeah, this week I made a cashew mozzarella cheese and added soy milk to it. And I tried some with water first, and then I did the next batch with soy. And oh my gosh, it like completely different and made it so creamy and delicious. So yeah, I just feel like it adds a really nice creaminess to dishes. Do you feel the same? You were going to say soy, so I'm guessing that soy is your choice too.
Soy or oat. Dave really loves the texture and taste of oat. So I kind of think of them as tied for first. I could go either way, but I think that if it were just me, it would be soy. Jennifer is here and she says hello. Hey.
Hi, Jen. So good to see you.
It's great to see everybody. I didn't know Mama Chia had milk. That is exciting.
Ooh.
I need to try that. I like their chia drinks a lot. They're kind of like a boba, but with chia instead.
That sounds great. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I feel like every time, I don't know about you, but just about every time I go to the grocery store, I feel like I see some kind of new plant-based or vegan product on the market. And it's like
wild. And I also feel obligated to buy and try it, like to support the movement.
I agree every time. Like, even if it's like a one-time purchase, just to try it. And like you said, to support the movement and the business. And most of them are small businesses that are not most of them, but like, some of them you see that are coming out new on the market might be a smaller business. And noticed a couple of Whole Foods recently. And yeah, you just want to support them. And it's fun to try new products. I mean, it's always fun to experiment with new products.
It is. Dave and I are launching a whole podcast around that problem.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I gotta hear about it.
We just recorded 2 episodes this morning. And
Oh.
yeah, just because we keep buying all these new things, and we were like, we should talk about this on a podcast. So we're gonna every week feature a new thing that we're eating, like a new, very processed food so far, but it's kind of what we like. So
Balance it out with, you get plenty of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, all that stuff in your diet, so that you're balancing it out well.
I like to think so.
Yeah. And again, you're supporting, the great movement, so that's important.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I guess like that, and actually yesterday, I feel like staples in the kitchen, for the most part, haven't been super hard to find. Like staples in our kitchen, always tahini, miso, and tamari are probably the 3 things I cannot live without, because they go into like every recipe. And I could not find tamari yesterday. I like coconut aminos as a substitution, but I really love tamari. I feel like it's a little saltier and less sweet, but a little stronger of a flavor, and could not find it. It was completely off the shelves. I'm like, who else is using all this tamari?
We just got some, and I'm trying to remember. I want to say we've been ordering from Sprouts a lot because they've reliably had tofu the most often.
Oh, okay.
So you might try, because if we got tamari, I'm guessing it's Sprouts.
I will check that out. Thank you. They actually are you ordering everything online right now?
Say again? Sorry.
Are you ordering everything online right now?
Yeah, I did one grocery trip. I kind of wonder if it's because of the store I chose, which I'm not going to name and shame. It was not Sprouts. But it was the most stressful thing. People were not distancing. Employees were not wearing masks.
Oh.
They weren't wiping carts. At the checkout, there was a sign about how to wipe down the self-checkout area, but none of the wipes or anything that they mentioned were there.
Oh, geez.
So it was very stressful, and I was like, I don't think I can do this again for a little while. I think maybe other stores where are you shopping? Or are you finding that? Because it sounds like you're going.
Not lately. Well, Kroger initially was that way, but I have been going to Kroger recently, and then they have got somebody wiping everything down. In fact, I got yelled at because I was pulling from the wrong pile the other day. He's like, no. So like I stopped in my tracks, and he's like, they're not clean yet. So I was kind of like, probably should have a sign, because when his back was turned, I almost grabbed it. But yeah, Kroger seems to be doing a great job keeping everything clean. I've noticed that more employees are wearing masks. I think initially that wasn't seeing that. Not all the people in the store are wearing masks. And last night, I actually had to run over there last night, and it was crowded. I feel like people are loosening their reins a little bit too much right now, and just not everyone's wearing a mask. But Sprouts I've been to as well. And they weren't great. They had this set up before you walk in as you're walking in the door, they had a whole table. And they had somebody monitoring the front and wouldn't let you through without, wiping your own hands down and wiping on the carts and everything. So, yeah, and Sprouts doesn't seem to be as crowded as the general grocery store right now. So, and Whole Foods has been good.
Well. Yeah, I've heard that Whole Foods has been really good. I should try. There's that 365 store in Decatur. I should try. So Val wanted to know what you're using miso for. I have some suggestions, but since you mentioned you use it in everything, let's talk about it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's definitely one of my favorite ingredients, just because it makes things taste so delicious, but also because of the health benefits. It's just so good for you and filled with probiotics and B vitamins and amino acids. I love the umami flavor, so I use it a lot in dressings and sauces and any kind of like grain bowls. I'll do, a ginger miso sauce, or add a little tamari to it. I find like it's the most essential ingredient for, I don't know if you feel this way too, Becky, but making cashew cheese. Like we've been making a lot of pizza this week. I had to experiment with a bunch of different pieces for work this week. So we made some cashew cheese, and I did a cashew cheese. I talked about the milk, but I also did one without the miso and one with miso. And like, I mean, night and day, the flavor just gives a cheese umami flavor and saltiness. You don't have to add extra salt because it's already got some salt in it, the miso. And so it adds a little saltiness and umami that I think makes cashew cheese. So, or any kind of like plant-based cheese, really extra delicious. How do you use it?
I really like it in dressings, like you said, and then you can put it into greens, like if you're making collards, instead of to give it like that. It's not a bacony flavor, but it kind of gives it that, like you said, umami flavor. It's really nice in greens if you're especially used to eating like Southern style, you know, cooked down greens.
I love that idea. I haven't tried that. I will definitely try that.
It's delightful. Oh, Amy says hello. Hi, Amy. And she says she uses miso in her mac and cheese, which I'm making mac and cheese tonight. I think I'm going to have to see. We might have some miso left. I'm going to try it.
That sounds delicious. Miso and mac and cheese. Thanks, Amy.
Oh, Lisa, that's a good question. What kind of miso do you use? I use whatever kind is on sale. Not choosy.
That's so funny. I tend to use the mellow white. That's my go-to. I feel like it's just the most mild flavor, or chickpea.
Oh,
So
yeah.
either one of those. I like the soy benefit, so I do try to add a lot of soy to my diet, as long as it's organic. And the ones that I see in the market is, Miso Master is the one I think I usually get. That's organic, I know. So yeah, just as long as it's organic, but the mellow miso is kind of my favorite. I like the whatever ones. You can probably use, like some of them are a little bit stronger, but I'm sure you can easily find a good use for make them all taste delicious no matter what they are, because you're so talented at that.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah, I guess with it's just about the amount. Like red miso, you just would use less because it is pretty strong.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So I think this is a good time to segue into what's cooking. I want to hear about what you've been cooking this week.
Well, I mentioned pizza. For work, we had, I work for an organization called Food Revolution, and we develop recipes for, they have a membership based subscription that where people come in and they're learning how to cook plant-based or more plant-forward meals. And so we provide 6 recipes a week for them. And this week was all about pizza. They have different themes and topics. And we wrote a blog article this week around plant-based pizza and can it be healthy? So we were creating plant-based pizzas that were healthy, healthier than traditional pizza. And so that's been fun. I've had some failures. Gosh, I'd love to know what you do with your failures, because like we're very much a no waste house. So even if it tastes, doesn't really turn out that delicious, we're eating it. But it happens. And then there are a couple that were, there were some redos and it ended up better on the last try. So I made a Brussels sprouts and caramelized onion pizza. And the 2 others, actually, you're probably into this, Becky, because I know that you like simple and easy, but still delicious. But I reused, last week we made tofu skewers with pineapple, mushroom, onion, and peppers with like a smoky, we used some liquid smoke and tamari and maple. It was like a smoky and sweet with the pineapple skewers on the grill that were delicious. And I love reusing recipes again. So I just basically took that and made it my pizza topping and spread cashew cheese on top, cashew mozzarella cheese. So like, we didn't have to recreate that whole thing. It was just nice to already have, it's always nice to have like a recipe in your back pocket and be like, I can use this in this too.
Yeah, definitely. Plus that's a good, then you can give that suggestion for leftovers, which is nice because people often will want to know.
Yeah, that's a great idea. No, exactly. Yeah, leftovers are the best. Yeah, and then there's also a Thai peanut style snack that I have on my website. It's basically cabbage, carrots, green onion, and it's just like a delicious peanutty sauce you can use on like in bowls and various things. So we did like a Thai peanut pizza with that and just added jalapenos and some onion to it and cashew cheese on top. I really wasn't sure how the cashew cheese would taste on top of all of this, but it turned out to be really good and like a hearty meal made with just all whole foods. And we got like a cauliflower tortilla. which was like a thin crust pizza, and it cooked okay. I was like, this is gonna fall apart, and it ended up being really good.
Oh, my mom was just asking me about a vegan cauliflower crust. I'm gonna have to send her your recipe.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was really good. But there's one on the website I think that you had mentioned on Instagram that I snagged from Minimalist Baker's site. That was a like from scratch cauliflower crust. It does take time. It was delicious. But then I also bought. I brought the package up here. There's this. This is not a crust. This is a tortilla. But there's Maria and Ricardo's cauliflower grain feed tortillas. Where did I get these?
And you're using those as a pizza crust? That's awesome.
Yeah, I used it. Yeah, I mean, they were pretty heavy ingredients, and it ended up working. It was really like a risk trying to get them to work together, but it ended up working fine, and it was good. It was light. It was just a light crust, like a very super thin crust. But yeah, we just experimented with it and ended up working okay. We also, were you going to say something? I'm so sorry.
Oh no, I just said that's awesome.
Thanks.
I have to ask Daddy. Can you find him? Please hold. I need to go parent really quickly. This has never happened before.
Oh, don't worry.
You can keep talking about pizza and I'll be back. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, go. Yes. I want to see who's all in here. I saw Lisa, Amy, Christy, and Jennifer. Still good to see all of you. So yeah, I don't know if all of you have tried cashew mozzarella cheese at home. This is actually my first time making it, but gosh, the miso and the addition of arrowroot powder, then heating it up on the stove, made the consistency like sticky and stretchy, like mozzarella cheese. That was delicious. I'm definitely going to share it on the blog next week. It was delicious. All okay, Becky?
Yes, we're fine. We couldn't find his swimming shorts. That, I guess, we have a rule to not come in unless it's an emergency, and I guess that was an emergency.
That's an emergency.
I mean, Dave's home. He's not alone out there. But I think, I guess I was the preferred swimming trunk locator.
Sometimes you just need your mom.
And I also don't know where they are, so.
That's great.
Oh, yeah. How do you make the cashew mozzarella? Let's talk about it.
Oh, so it's super simple. I'm trying to remember if I can think of the ingredients. It was basically a half a cup of cashews that were soaked. And I don't want to forget anything. I will post the recipe. It was 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, some water. I think it was a half a cup of water and a half a cup of soy milk, unsweetened and unflavored soy milk. I said the 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, a tablespoon of arrowroot powder or whatever, like kind of cornstarch, whatever you have as a thickener, and then a tablespoon of miso. Blended all of that together in the food processor. And then it's super liquidy, so it doesn't look like cheese when you make it. It's just super liquidy. And then heat it up in a stove top pan. You cannot walk away from it. So it's like medium-high heat, and you just keep whisking it for like 5 to 7 minutes, and it gets stretchy like mozzarella, and it's so good. The flavor, the miso makes it really. But yeah, and it's cool. The consistency's cool. It smells like you're baking a cake when you start heating it. Ricky walked in the other night and he was like, "What are you making?" He thought, I'm not actually a baker. I'm really not. I'm more like the savory, the meals. So I was like, don't get excited. Didn't work. Yeah, the cashew cheese is really good. Yeah, it smells delicious. I mean, you can use it for, I'm sure, mac and cheese and as a vegetable dip, in a lot of different applications.
Ooh, like a fondue. I bet that would be good.
Ooh, that's perfect. Yes. Fondue, a family fondue party with cashew cheese.
Would it be the same amount of cornstarch? Christy wants to know if we can't find arrowroot.
Yeah, totally. You use cornstarch or tapioca starch, potato starch. Yeah, whisking. Don't walk away because it starts to stick around the pot if you walk away from it for like a second. I tried it and that, yeah, don't do it.
To clean up.
Exactly. Bubbles all over the stove and it's all clean up. Another thing we've been making this week, and excuse me, embarrassed to say that I have never been like a pancake person. I've never made a pancake before. This is like so embarrassing. My husband loves them, and I just have never really I don't know why. I've never liked pancakes. I mean, right now, like as a like plant-based, we do a lot of tofu scrambles and stuff before like making an elaborate breakfast in the morning. But usually I'll just do like avocado toast or oatmeal. And he loves pancakes. And he's always like, let's make pancakes. And I just never get excited about it. I'm like, I don't even know how to make a pancake. And a friend of mine recently sent me a recipe, the simplest recipe for pancakes. It was literally like the base is just oats and bananas. And then it had like baking soda in it for the, for the baking component and a little apple cider vinegar. And I think it was like a little bit of soy milk. And that was it. So simple.
In the blender?
Put it in the blender or the food processor if you can handle that liquid. And the batter is outstanding. So that was the recipe she sent me. We tried that, and I don't like bananas either, actually. I'm like, I don't like bananas or pancakes, so this is all you. And I tried it, and literally for the past 2 weeks, it's what I've had every single day as a snack. I like it, not even necessarily breakfast, but they make beautiful fluffy pancakes, and they're a really good snack. I added a couple of things to it just to make it more. He also is always trying to do protein because he eats out or whatever. So he's always like, can you add some protein to, how a lot of people are all into the protein. I'm always like, there's plenty of protein in the oats, but he wanted more. So we added some hemp seeds. We added a couple tablespoons of hemp seeds and 2 tablespoons of flax meal to it and a little bit extra milk. And they ended up being super fluffy and delicious. So we've been experimenting too with like local berries from the market, cutting those up in them, adding some walnuts. And we've been having a lot of fun with these pancakes. And they're so simple and so good for you that like you just make great snacks.
Amy says she didn't like pancakes as a kid and she thinks it's because she had a dairy allergy. That makes sense. I don't like pancakes for the same reason they make me feel. I think it's too much refined flour. I just can't. I've always had high blood sugar. I can't eat just like a plate of pancakes. There's consequences. But those oat and banana ones, I've made those before, and those don't make me feel so garbagey. They're lovely.
Yeah, right.
It's like fiber and stuff that helps you not have a blood sugar freak out. It's great.
Exactly. Yeah. It definitely feels. It doesn't feel like the sugary pancake that you're used to eating as a kid. That it's just it gives you something. It's like I said, it's a good snack. So it gives you a nice stable blood sugar, like you said, and fiber and bananas and more fruit to it and hemp seed and flax. Like you just have all good stuff. So I feel like you can feel good about it.
Yeah, totally. So I think this is a good segue into talking about our happy place.
I love the sound of it.
So the happy place is just all about something that's making you feel like grounded and like keeping you sane right now during a time that's so difficult. And do you have one in mind? I can go first if you need time, or you can go first if you're ready. It's totally up to you.
Either one. If you want to go first, go right ahead.
Sure. So yes, I wrote it down because I recorded 2 podcasts before this and my brain is like, what are we talking about? So yeah, my happy place this week has been that we finally popped the takeout bubble. We haven't done takeout in 2 months. I know it's probably was overly cautious, but that's a streepy. And we finally this week, Dave suggested pizza on Sunday. And I don't even always love pizza. It's not my favorite, but we ordered from Mellow Mushroom, and it was the best meal I've eaten in weeks. Just because I didn't have to cook it. There were no dishes, just the plates we ate on to clean. It was so wonderful that we ordered takeout again. We got El Mariachi 2 nights ago, and that was a delight. Their ordering and pickup process is top notch. You order online and then they have a outside window. They put it down when you tell them your name and they walk away. Then pick it up. It's great.
Great.
Pick up pretty much.
What do you get there at El Mariachi?
Oh, I love so many things. But so their menu you can veganize almost anything. And I love their chimichurri tacos. It's got like tofu, or you can do any. I think you can do beans too, but I get it with tofu, pickled radishes, chimichurri sauce.
Mm, yeah.
It's lovely. And there's also like a barbecue taco that if you get black beans instead of the meat, it is a real delight. And that has pickled onions on it. I really like anything with a pickle on it.
Yes. That sounds phenomenal. Yes.
So just like those non-cooking nights have been, I love to cook and I was starting to hate to cook because it was just such a grind of always having to decide what to make. And it, like while I was cooking, I didn't mind it, but it's really the deciding. So just like those couple little breaks, like my cooking has felt a lot more joyful this week than it has for a month or so.
You deserve it. You have, yeah, getting a takeout meal and not having to worry about cooking. Amy saying she loves much. Yeah.
Mellow mushroom is delightful. They're based in Atlanta, or the first one was in Atlanta, so we have lots of them.
We're lucky.
We are.
No, I haven't had it in a long time. I think since when they first started offering vegan pizza, and that was like a few years ago. I haven't had it since then. So now you made me want to get it again. So thank you for. And El Mariachi I've never tried, so I'm excited to try it.
Oh yeah, and they're so close. They're like because you live in the same neighborhood basically.
Yeah.
They're close by.
Awesome.
Mellow mushroom has changed cheeses then since you first tried it. They were doing Daya, and now I think it's so delicious.
Oh, that's good.
It's good. And their toppings are great. Yes, mellow mushrooms tempeh is so good, and I'm picky about tempeh.
Ooh, that's so cool. I didn't even know they offer tempeh. I'm missing out. I know. Thanks for the suggestion. Oh, that's great. How fun. Well, that's
Amy,
awesome.
you do not have mellow mushroom, but you have veggie grill, so I don't want to hear any complaints out of you. Amy's in Southern California.
Oh, wow. You have got lots of, yeah, veggie grill.
Amy has it all.
Cafe, like, yes, so many. Yeah. Very
So what
lucky.
about you? What's been your happy place this week?
Well, I mentioned our walks. That has just been my happy place this entire time. I feel like every week, as the quarantine period goes on, the walks get more and more valuable and longer. My husband and I, he's like, we want to turn around now. I'm like, just 5 more minutes. Let's just keep going. So that's been part of it. And then, honestly, this tea, I actually have found a local tea, and I'm sure you can get something similar in other places in the country, but it's a mind tea that's at Freedom Farmers Market that has rosemary, holy basil, ginkgo, and lemon balm in it. And it is such like an afternoon delight. And it really, I feel like, there's a lot of like mental health properties that have been researched around the ingredients, like rosemary, all of them really. But I just love rosemary. So you can like cook with it or make tea out of it. You just have like rosemary garden or get it at the store. And I really feel a different, like I was like, is this placebo effect or not? But I really feel like it makes a difference. And it gives me, when you get into like an afternoon slump, having that tea, some rosemary tea with all the other things that they have in this, and a piece of dark chocolate is my happiest place on the planet. So yeah, that just really helps. And yoga, honestly, I can't even start, even just stepping on the mat, even if it's for 5 minutes, just kind of like getting on the mat and centering, especially if you feel like we had talked about routine earlier. And if I'm feeling kind of lost and without a routine and just like need some guidance, just like the sheer act of stepping on the mat sometimes is just what I feel like just kind of helps to center and get grounded for a minute.
So you're a yoga teacher. Do you ever do like classes like that take classes, or do you when you need to do yoga, do you just roll out the mat and go for it?
Both. Before the quarantine, I was taking classes. It was like a 5 class pass over like a couple of month periods. So I really love to wake up in the morning and I have like a ritual of just having tea and then going to yoga, like starting the day with yoga. So it just helps to center me and structure my day better. So like mentally, I feel like I like to do it in the morning to start the day like that. So for that reason, I mostly practice at home, but I love taking classes around the city at various different studios. And I had as I mentioned, a pass at one local studio before they closed temporarily. And I learned so much from other yoga teachers. I love just seeing, like, trying different styles. And maybe there's like a hot yoga class. I love yin yoga, which is much slower. And even like, gentle yoga. It just depends on what frame of mind I'm in and what I'm looking for. But I learned something from every yoga teacher. And it's just like so cool to leave a class. Like you take little nuggets and just different styles of teaching and what they're teaching and the postures. So yeah, I really like to just get that experience outside. And there's also the community aspect of going to a studio that you don't get when you're practicing solo at home.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I wanted to also talk to you a little bit about what you're working on right now outside of Food Revolution Network. You have a private Facebook group, and then you have a book that you can talk about. I want to hear about it.
Thanks, Becky. Yeah, the private Facebook group. I think I'm gonna switch the name soon because it started as I started doing vegan food tours around the city a couple of years ago, and it really stemmed because I was going into the grocery store, and I feel like every time I was like in the vegan, they always have like a dedicated vegan section, and there were always like one or two people who were kind of staring with like blank stares on their faces, and
Yes, I always chat those people up.
exactly. What are you looking at? Or, have you tried this before? Like, just try to have a conversation. Yes.
Yeah.
And it really stemmed from those conversations because, or they would, you probably had the same thing. They chat you up and they're like, why are you getting that cheese versus this cheese? Because maybe they were looking at something different. And those conversations were so awesome. And it was so interesting to know, like, a lot of people want to try some of these foods, the vegan foods that are out there, but they don't know. I mean, it can get pricey if you're experimenting and you're buying a bunch of things and you don't like them, or, depending on what you're looking for. So that's how the vegan food tour started. It's like I wanted to at least offer a monthly tour, like for whoever had questions. Let's talk about the options out there: plant-based meats or like meat alternatives, vegan cheeses. What to look for in the nutrition label, what's better in terms of health, what you want to maybe limit, but it's good if you want to make like a great mac and cheese or something. And that's how the vegan food tour started, because people were coming, and it was so cool because they were sharing recipes amongst each other. Like it was just fun. It ended up being fun, and we'd get a handful of people that became friends at the end of the tour, and they were like, let's share recipes. And I got ideas from them, and it just ended up being a really fun group. So that's how the Facebook group started. And I just continued now to do the vegan food tour online, and just doing like one day I did like a video on just vegan cheeses and the options and what to look for in the labels, vegan meat alternatives. So we just have been having discussions online, but I want to kind of shift it to like really focus on whole foods, plant-based, because I love these vegan options, but I also feel like I don't want to just like emphasize just vegan foods. Like it's really important to have whole foods in the diet. So I haven't figured out the new name yet, but yes, the group right now is the Vegan Food Tour group. And I've been doing weekly videos. And this month we've been talking a lot about mental health and food, and how to like foster mental health, just a healthy mind through food. And the book, I've been working on for the past year. I'm really excited about it. It is scheduled right now, slated right now to come out January in 2021. And it is basically, it's all about fiber, which is not sexy or cute. Most people don't want to talk about fiber, but all the foods that have fiber are like so vibrant and beautiful. They're all plant-based foods. So I really kind of, it's called The Fiber Effect. And that actually stemmed from a time when I had a chocolate company, which I closed 2 years ago. But when I had a chocolate company, we would do demos in the grocery stores with chocolate. And there was it was dark chocolate that was filled with blueberries and pumpkin seeds and like all these good foods. And dark chocolate can be healthy in moderation. And there were so many people that would say, "Oh, I'm not eating dark chocolate. I can't have it," or "I'm watching calories," or I do low fat," or "I'm no sugar." Like there were so many things that they were avoiding, but their cart may have been filled with like soda or chips and stuff. I'm like, okay, there's like a disconnect here. What? And I would try to explain to them like where cacao comes from, and there's whole foods in this product, and it was low sugar and high fiber, so it was low glycemic. So it came from that because basically like the subtitle of the book is "Stop Counting Calories, Sugar, and Fat, Start Counting Fiber." And, over 95% of people in the country don't get enough fiber. And, recommendations for women are 25 grams a day at least, and men 38 grams a day at least. And 95% of people in the country don't get enough. They get less than 15 grams. And like all of these things that they're looking for, stop counting. They're not counting. They're counting calories. They're counting fat. They're counting sugar. If they just add, instead of like having this like mindset of avoiding all of these foods, if they just start adding more fibrous foods to their diet, those other things are going to start to naturally go away because they're going to be full. They're not going to eat as much of the sugar and the fats that they're looking to avoid. So it's really a concept about like, adding whole, vibrant plant-based foods to the diet, and I don't really think that you need to count anything, but like but once you start naturally just making people aware, just like how much fiber they're getting in some of these foods, like whole grains and beans and fruits and vegetables, of course, they naturally just start to follow a higher, a plant-forward or plant-based diet. They feel better, they have more energy, their skin looks better, their digestive issues start to improve. So yeah, it's really just focus on like adding whole, vibrant foods to your diet and not worrying about counting all the other stuff.
I love that. That's such an abundant way of looking at like eating well too, because it leaves room for, the junky stuff you like, as long as you're balancing it with plenty of fiber to move it through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all about balance, really. Yeah, and a positive mindset, and just adding things, and then you feel better about, like you said, having the things those indulgences that you want too.
Indulgences, that's better than junky. I shouldn't talk about my food that way.
No, junky is
in the freezer. You might use that word.
No, I like junky. It's fun.
I'm excited about your book. I can't wait to read it. I hope you'll sign one for me.
Oh, I have your bowl book still that I use frequently. I think the first time that we met was when you were you had
at Veg Fest?
It was was it at Veg Fest, or I think it was at a market over in the park that you were selling your book, and I was like, oh, what's she got? And I was like, oh my gosh, she's got a plant-based bowl book. Like, how are we not friends?
Yes. Nichole and I met because we would do markets together. I was selling my books, and Nichole would feed me chocolate, and so now we're friends.
Now we're friends.
Best way to form a friendship.
I love it. Yeah,
over chocolate.
But your book's amazing too.
Oh,
so
well, thank you.
Honored to have it. It's a part of my kitchen.
So, if people want to find you online after this, where can they find you on social media, and also your blog? I don't think you named it.
The blog is Purely Planted. Thanks for asking. The blog is purelyplanted.com. And then social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which I'm not as good about. It's a lot like a challenging time. You do a great job at managing all the social channels, Becky, but I'm doing all of it. So Instagram and Facebook, I'm primarily on as Purely Planted. And then the Facebook tour group, the vegan food tour group, is a part of that Facebook page.
Oh, it's linked to your page.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'll be an easy way to find it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you.
Well, Nichole, thank you so much for coming today. This was great.
Thank you. I really appreciate you inviting me. I'm honored to be a part of your community. It's so great to see everybody. Lisa, Amy, Jennifer, all of you. Thank you for joining in. And thanks, Becky. Hopefully we can see each other soon in person since we're neighbors.
Yes, we'll go to El Mariachi when this is all over.
I love that. That sounds perfect.
Well, take care, everybody. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you next week. Oh, no, the stop button's not working. Oh, okay.
We're not leaving.